Now I'm ready. Are you?
Okay, come in. Yes, Scott. I'm ready. Talk about this. We obviously need muscles to carry it for any great length of time. And whilst I love using this at weddings for some post shots, my main usage, or the biggest stretch of time that I use it for, is during speeches and that type of thing, just so that you can get people's reactions from outside, really.
There's a good range.
Yeah.
And you don't have to be in the face for it.
I think the fact that you can get it at 2.8 from a distance allows you to get some really good reactions, and it doesn't distract from what's going on in the background.
Yeah. And it's nice, and like you say, with it being 2.8, lets a lot of light in, so it's good when it's quite low light. It's good for getting some reps in. If you've just got a few spare minutes, you can do some curls with it. And,
yeah, it is good.
But
it'd be expensive if you dropped it there.
It would, which I actually dropped mine.
Oh, did you? I've dropped mine a few times.
Yeah. Luckily, I was stood on some quite soft grass, but when I picked it back up, the end where the mount is, where you attach it to the camera, it was like full of grass.
Oh.
It looked like I was growing something out of it.
Yeah.
But it cleaned up all right. It cleaned up really well. I felt you feel quite safe when you're carrying that lens around as well.
Oh yeah.
You don't feel like anybody's gonna mess with it.
Yeah, I see what you mean. If you've got a good grip on it.
Yeah.
So I'd taken 3 pictures. I took 1 inside, and I've taken 2 outside, just to give a bit of a contrast between taking something relatively close up and then taking something kind of unexpected whilst going out. So I'll show you my stuff now, and then you can show me yours, and if you like, your clips.
You show me yours, and I'll show you mine. It sounds good.
Light speed activated.
So I've just done this school run, and it's time to put the 70-200 lens through its paces. Scott's going to be doing the same. We're just going to be taking 2 or 3 pictures just to show, in our opinion, what the strong points are. So I'm going to visually show you these, but just to talk about it for a moment, there's 3 parts for me which are the best, and the first one is the focal length. So the focal length is, no surprise, 70-200, and with regard to the advantage of that means that, especially if you're doing weddings, you don't need to be in anybody's face. You can take close-up pictures from a distance, and it works really good. The other advantage that I find with it is that the lens that I've got is 2.8. That's the aperture, or the f-stop, and what that means is, in low light situations, so if you're doing a wedding in a church and you can't use a flash or anything like that, you've got a fighting chance to get some decent light with a low aperture, which means that it's open wide and it lets as much light in. And then the third part of this is the other thing that I like about this lens is the fact that at 2.8 you've got a really good depth of field. And what that means is that if you want to take a picture of a specific subject, you can get some really good detail on the subject that you want to take, and all the background is blurred out. If you want to focus on, I mean, for instance, I use this lens for speeches, simply because you can get their facial expressions of the guests, laughing, surprised faces. And I mentioned this in a previous video, which I'll put the link up here, and it doesn't get distracted by what's in the background, because it gives a nice blurred out or bokeh effect, and it's quite good. So I've just pulled up here, and all I'm going to do is take a few shots here. So let's have a look what's going on. So this is what I'm looking to capture. What I've got here is got an individual strand of grass in this field, and it's focusing on the grass, but it's blurred out the whole background, which looks really nice.
Light speed activated.
I'm just going to take my 70 to 200 out for a bit of a walk and see if there's anything interesting that I can find to take photos of. I hope they don't think that I've been following them.
So I've just come out to do my little video and it started raining. So I'm currently hiding under a bridge. If it stops, then I'll be able to show you what I intended to show you, which was what I like about the 70 to 200 2.8 lens. So fingers crossed, otherwise I'm going to be running back home.
Okay, so I do have to confess it wasn't as bad as this at the time. This is from about a week ago when it was hailing, but it looks really cool, so I just thought I'd include it. So I did manage to get a couple of shots before the downpour. Nothing fancy, but hopefully you'll get to see the difference between the extremes of the focal range. So you've got 70mm coming up first, which is this one here, and then followed by 200mm, stood from exactly the same spot using exactly the same settings. Just so you get to see the difference. Again, 70mm on this one, and then 200mm.
Do you ever consider buying the f4 rather than the f2.8?
No. I love the fact that it's 2.8.
I did. I'd never bought it, but I did actually consider it for about 2 weeks because it's quite a lot cheaper.
Is that the reason then it's cheaper?
Yeah, because I wanted that range. I wanted the 70 to 200 range, but you know, I think when I got mine, you're looking at, I think it was 1,500 quid, something like that.
All right.
And I think the F4 versions maybe 800, something like that. So there's a big difference in price. But I'm so happy that I got the 2.8 because I use it. I use it at gigs when I'm in photo pit. You get some good reach on it. I'll use it at weddings, like you say. It's brilliant for speeches because you can,
and even in churches,
you can stand far back, can't you?
In churches, when you're not allowed to have flash, that extra couple of notches down on the aperture makes life really easy. One of my first lenses that I got was a 70 to 300. Was it a Nikon or can't remember what it was now, but it was garbage because you would start off at 4.5, I think it was, at 300, and by the time you got to the 70, oh sorry, it was I'm trying to think which way around it was now. So it went from 4.5 up to 6.5 or 7 or something like that, which is impossible to actually take any decent pictures unless you got really good sunlight outside.
An 80 to 200, and it's 4.5 to 5.6. But I think anything past about 100 and you were straight up at 5.6,
Yeah.
and it's gash.
Yeah. I mean, I used the 70-300 for a couple of important shots back in the day when I had it, and I got home and just looking at the noise on it that I had to try and crank it
your
up.
eyes so.
Yeah, I was desperate to try and get some kind of light, but this one, if need be, I could shoot a full wedding with this. Apart from probably the group shot where you need to,
Yeah.
I suppose I could stand a good half a mile away and then get the groups.
All right. I think it's probably my most used lens.
Or actually do it as a panoramic shot
and just make sure
make sure they
everybody to
don't move
freeze.
or blink. So next week, we're gonna have a challenge, and there's 3 options that you need to pick. You probably see them on social media. Pick the one which you want us to try, and then we will do it the following week. You've got 3 choices, and see how creative it can be.
Yeah, why not? Let's give it a go. It'll, if nothing else, it'll get us to use a gear that we're probably not using as much as we'd like to use right now anyway. So
I might use them
good.
gels that I got today. They're not actually gels, they're kind of strips that go around it and you've got a band over them. So it's not like yours. It's not like yours.
No, it's same.
Eh?
Same as mine. This is what I've got. And you've got your little band that goes over your flash, and then you've got a pack of gels, and they're all sorted out by different colours or effects. Yeah,
I assumed that you had those where they got the grids on them.
Oh no!
You could get them, couldn't you? You could use that and then put like a grid over the top of it if you wanted to.
Yeah, like your mag mod. But no, these are. Like I say, I've had them years and rarely use them, but they're pretty decent. I mean, the thing is, you can make your own, can't you? Out of Quality Street wrappers, really, if you're desperate.
Yeah, I used to make my own cups out of Quality Street wrappers. Kind of put it over your finger and then twist it over, and you'd have a nice little wine glass when you've finished. I have to play about with these.